Hello and welcome to Sparkling Sips, the Sip and Tell edition with your host, Jacqui, and the fabulous Cristina from the SHeCOMMERCE podcast, where power women and real talk collide in the CPG world.
Cheers. All right, Jacqui. Well, we definitely need to sip and tell because this story is everywhere. And honestly, it's very triggering to people. We see the internet, if you will, the population divided, this 3 hour parenting trend. So, yes, that's a thing. It's basically saying you spend three very focused, intentional hours a day with your kids, and that's enough.
I mean, I saw this and I thought, are we rebranding what working moms have been doing forever? But now it's become a headline because Emma said it.
Exactly. So, this idea that came from Emma Grede is all about quality of time with your kids over the quantity of time spent. So, if you're fully present, you have no distractions, you put your phone away, you're really focused on that quality time and building those core memories together, then the rest of the day, you're not pretending to be kind of everything to everyone, multitasking without doing anything well.
You're so busy and you've done nothing, right? So here's where it gets spicy. Because in theory, I love it. But in practice, it assumes that somebody else is doing the 21 hours worth, the other 21 hours worth of live admin.
Yeah, I think that deserves to be said again and louder because this is where the internet and people are divided. On one side, you have women saying, finally, permission to stop feeling guilty. Like the mom guilt is a real thing. We feel it every day. And then on the other side, those that are thinking, well, this is kind of a luxury model that's disguised as a mindset. And this is where it becomes a she-commerce conversation because this isn't just about parenting. It's about expectation, economics, and what women are still expected to do. Show up like they don't have kids, parent like they don't have jobs, and somehow do both without dropping the ball.
And let's be real, no one is measuring dads on quality hours, are they?
No, not ever.
So the real issue here isn't the 3 hours. It's the invisible labor around that. Who's planning the meals? Who's booking the appointments? Who's remembering the school forms? Because if that's still with mom, this whole model doesn't actually reduce burnout.
No, it doesn't. It adds to it. So maybe the takeaway here isn't 3 hour parenting. It's how intentional are you with your time? How do you set those boundaries minus the guilt? And how do we stop subscribing to a standard that was never designed to support us?
And it's the guilt. I mean, why? Why are we drowning ourselves in guilt? Are we not worth the same in terms of our aspirations and ambitions and everything else that we don't criticize men for having, right? And some days it's the three magical, wonderful hours. Some days it's surviving bedtime. And girl, I've had a few of those. And both count. Both count. And let's talk about the other part of it, the presenteeism. Emma got dragged through the coals for stating that you will not progress if you are not in the office. Now, I ask you, Christina, still in this day and age, in this year, 2026, where is the lie here? Especially if you're new, you need to learn how to people, and you kind of can't do that without being with the people. However, again, I'm playing devil's advocate with my own with myself here, but this is especially disadvantageous to women because generally, who's going to do the caretaking for kids? Parents, family, the woman. Who's generally doing all the life admin in the family? The woman. How do you balance doing all of that, being present for promotional prospects, and not having a nervous breakdown? The only way, as you said before, Christina, and I love this point especially, this is also really about who can afford the privilege of support.
Yeah, and that's an imbalance as well. That's real. And this idea that FaceTime is real, but we need to be intentional at home, set boundaries, avoid burnout. And then at work, if they don't see you enough, the implication there is, well, you're not serious about your career. And again, is that standard being held for men as well as women. And it doesn't seem like it is. So, is this the corporate version of performative parenting? And maybe something a bit controversial to think about is this new standard around presenteeism. Is this the new glass ceiling? And I think as you're younger in your career, I agree that FaceTime is real and there's a lot of learnings that can come from being around your peers and collaborating in person and showing up and having those informal conversations as you run into leaders, etc., and being visible so that you stay top of mind. But as you progress and start a family and all that, I think this is really where we're pushing back on these standards and talking about this inequality that it presents.
Completely. And, everything you've said, I'd like to know, how the hell do you balance it all? Answers on a postcard, please, everyone.
Yeah, it's not as much about impact as it is about optics. And our organizations rewarding being seen working, or are you actually rewarding delivery and the quality of those deliverables? Right? Back to we had this conversation with Christina. If you're not in the room, you're not in the conversation, right? And is that fair? And how do we build a culture where results and quality of outputs are going to speak louder than just presence alone? And my challenge to organizations and to people leaders is to stop measuring commitment by chair time alone, especially as you progress in your career. So again, we invite you to share your comments. Where do you land on this? Is this a genius reframe that helps you minimize the guilt? Or is it completely unrealistic? And are you somewhere maybe in the messy middle like the rest of us where you can see both sides? But, what is your truth and takeaway from all of this? Thanks for joining us for this edition of Sparkling Sips, Sips and Tell, because let's face it, sip happens.
Because it's not just business, ladies and gentlemen, it's personal. Bold brands, fierce women, one sisterhood.